Hello, everyone, and welcome again to Leaders Uncut. And today it is my great pleasure to have with us Trisha Benn, who is the CEO of C-Suite Network. Hello, Trisha. It's so nice to have you on the show today.
Catherine, I'm thrilled to be here with you.
Yes, so thank you. I can't wait for you to tell us about your background and then, of course, what you are doing with the C-Suite network and women in the C-Suite, which is a topic that is really dear to my heart.
Oh my goodness. Well, I love you, this conversation, and I'm so excited to be able to have it in a meaningful way. So my background, I'm Canadian born. I am now a dual citizen of Canada and the US, and I happen to live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but I am on the road a great deal of my life. And my background really is that I ended up doing 2 degrees in sociology and anthropology. And that meant all of the qualitative and quantitative research of people. And I just love trying to understand, why do we do the things we do? What is it that drives us to do the things we do in the different cultures and what we can learn from different cultures? I've traveled a fair amount, lived in a lot of different places, especially in the Canada, the US, and the UK. And then also I will say, I didn't even consider doing a business degree, because when I was going into university, the model was, and this is what I saw, was greed, trophy hunting, and trophy showing. And none of those appealed to me in any way, shape, or form. It really wasn't until after I'd lived in the UK, I'd finished my master's degree, I'd worked on a very large international political ethics study, that I realized and got into my first real professional job and realized, oh my goodness, there's something more here. And when you're looking at meaning, purpose, connection, and how you create great businesses, it's everything. It's
Yes.
everything. And so that's what got me incredibly passionate in delivering real value, meaningful impact, teams that would go above and beyond because we cared. We really, truly cared. And business models that would deliver that success to be able to keep doing it together, keep seeing greater success, and so on. So my track record is that I've been an executive at 3 enterprise-sized organizations, Canada, the US, the UK, and in a number of different industries and sectors. I've worked with every kind of leader my whole career. So whether that's public, private, not-for-profit, religious, government, political, you name it. I've worked with someone in that space and at the highest decision-making levels. And now in my life, my focus is truly about the impact of great business leaders. And so that's been the real driving force and my incredible passion in serving as, an owner and CEO in C-Suite Network.
That is beautiful. I mean, there are a few things that you said that I'd like to emphasize here, because I think this is critical. First of all, you are working at elevating ethics in the business world, because I think we are at a juncture now where a lot of the unethical behaviors, and we just talked about that, the unethical behaviors are going to be revealed because they are not sustainable anymore. This cannot work. There's so much you can abuse people, right? So at one point, this type of behavior is going to be canceled out, and I think it will be canceled out in a very natural way that maybe we don't understand, but that's going to be interesting to witness. And I think your background and what you do, your anthropology and the understanding of human behavior, because that is critical in anything we do in life. It's critical in marketing, it's critical in building relationship with others. So I'd love you to emphasize that, if you don't mind, and also speak about what you see as the critical components of change that are coming to our world right now.
Oh my goodness, Catherine. So we're getting into some real love language for me. When it comes to what is good business and what does business look like going forward, it is all about our people. It really, truly is all about our people, not as a tagline, in reality, because who we choose to spend our time with, who we see benefit from the work, the life's blood we put into our businesses and the services we deliver, whatever our roles and responsibilities within an organization. I don't care if it's the janitorial team through to the executive team, doesn't matter. all of us are putting our lifeblood into delivering something of value that organization is committed to or promised to.
Yeah.
So the driving force for us in C-Suite Network is very much values based. We have our 4 principles that unite all of our communities, the whole entire ecosystem of C-Suite Network, and that's relevancy, reach, reciprocity, and respect. And so when we talk about, relevancy, we show up in C-Suite to engage, to support, to listen, not just throw up business cards or throw up, this is my ask, but truly create relevancy with each other around what's happening in that conversation in that room. Reach, people come from great people. We all know the people we would happily say, oh my goodness, if you have the opportunity, do business with this person. They're incredible, right? That's who we want to be connecting through to. We want to be vetting as much as we can that we are elevating and creating accelerated success. That's our brand promise in C-Suite for great business leaders. So that reach piece is really critical, obviously, for all of us and certainly here in C-Suite. Right. Reciprocity.
Yes.
I cannot stand when people say, oh, don't ask here. No, we don't do business together here. These kinds of things. That's ludicrous. Nobody has time to be coy about the fact that we're in business and we all have problems to solve. Yeah. If you want to say you're in business and you don't have problems to solve, you don't have a question to ask or something to ask for, you quite literally are not in business. Yeah. So yes. I can't stand this kind of nonsense. The truth is, have your ask, have it ready. And then also have your give ready, because whatever you do at Excellence or whatever successes you have to share or things that are working right now that maybe didn't before or shockingly are back again and creating value, incredible. But then you have that give to give and then you need other things. So the ask and give is critical, that reciprocity. And then finally, respect. And we added respect as the last R actually during COVID. And what I realized in leading all of our communities across C-Suite Network is the tremendous respect we have across the platform because we are incredibly diverse. 50% of our membership is women. We're an executive network. That is not the norm in our space. And then, of course, so much other diversity, and every conversation is on the table across all of our different events. We run over 600 events a year now, just under the C-Suite banner, let alone different events we're speaking at, supporting our members and partners events and so on. So there's tremendous opportunity for creating a collaborative and environment of respect where everyone can sit at the table and have value and participate and engage in the conversation, and also educate and support. We don't know what we don't know. And that's the thing I find absolutely fascinating about our culture is the fragility we have about learning about other people's perceptions, experiences, etc. Why that is threatening, I will never understand.
Yes.
To me, this is a tremendous gift. This is an unbelievable understanding and the opening of new communities, new opportunities that we would never have with the narrow band of our own personal experience and everyone that's just like us.
It is. Wow. I mean, wow. First of all, these are great value-based concepts or principles that you just spoke about that are very important. It's very important for people in the C-suite, but I think it's also very important for both women and men. I know you are really working at elevating women in the workplace, which is critical because, in fact, if you look at most developing countries all over the world, the ones that are the most successful are the ones that have the right balance of women and men in their government. It's proven. It's not something that's coming out of the blue. It's been like this for a long, long time. So I think elevating women in the workplace, in the C-suite workplace, it's critical. But there's one thing I'm noticing still all the time, and maybe you can talk about this, because I think women are still very insecure. They are still worried about being too expose themselves, to have the courage to share their beliefs, because a lot of them are still pushed down by the male society that is still a lot of them, not all of them, but wonderful men out there. But I still see leaders, some male leaders, disconnecting from women or not respecting them as much as they should. So therefore they have a tendency to push them away. and a lot of women do not know how to react to that. So I would love you to address this, and if you agree with me, because I know for myself, now with maturity and age, I have a tendency to impose myself a lot more, and I don't ask permission to speak, because have you seen a man ask for permission to speak? They don't, but most women do still. So there's still a lot of components that I think have to evolve in order for women to reach that level of equality that is a high one, a really challenging one. So what do you think of all of that I just explained here?
Incredibly challenging, and even just to have the right language and framing to make it a constructive conversation is challenging. Mm-hmm. And I will say, just as a piece of background, I will joke, but it's something I'm so proud of. I'm third generation crazy woman, so the third generation of women to lead a different path. My grandmother started her own business, I think it was back in the 50s, had her own money. My mom is a world leader in her space, and in her 70s, still very much a world leader in her space. Yeah. And then there's me, and I have, of course, 2 daughters. So I've got a next generation coming up, and I've, you might imagine, Catherine, I've informed them they are 4th generation crazy women, and they're well aware.
I love it.
But there's a certain amount of challenge that goes with decades of systemic bias. Yeah. And there's tremendous opportunity for us to be able to share the things that have worked and not worked. I also am very inspired right now that we have a generation of women. I'm 53. I'm in my 50s, smack dab Gen X. We have a whole generation of 60-something, 70-something, 80-something women in those age brackets that are now in a position where, having reached incredible success, wealth, and access, are able to give back to the next generations. This is really very, very exciting, and the first time, because most of us didn't have women mentors, because there were women ahead of us. And now for the first right now, for the first time, we're getting into this stage where there are women who have those resources, that want to share their expertise, their knowledge, how they worked through the challenges that are very difficult to articulate for those of us that are at those top levels, having those conversations, having those challenges, and not wanting to use any of them as excuses, right? We can all use excuses, but the challenge is how not to use the excuse, create the opportunity for conversation to deliver success. And that's where, the ego piece of it, the personalized piece of it, has to be thrown away as quickly as possible to get to the solution. And that's what's really truly been incredibly powerful for me, is I'm not engaged from an ego level. I want outcomes. I want success, whatever I've defined that success to be. That's why my podcast is called C-Suite Success with Trisha Benn, because I want everyone to understand they can define the success for themselves. What does that look like? What does that mean? So when I've defined what that success is, I'm all in on that. How do I deliver against that? So if I were to say one thing that I think is just super powerful is, what does success look like for you? How do you check your ego? Use your resourcing around you. Stay very close to the financial model. Always, always, always. And move forward towards success, dropping as much of the noise as you possibly can at every step of your path, career, business build, whatever it is that you're doing.
This is great advice. So coming back to ego, I'm very interested in all of that, and I've studied this a lot. So ego by itself is self-centeredness, which inherently creates separation. So then that separation cannot lead to a cohesive, collaborative effort that will guide us to uplifting what we do, to improving what we do, and to embrace a world of change, because that's coming at the speed of light right now. So that what you just mentioned is very important, because in order to gain empowerment, and the way I use empowerment is not negative. Empowerment is, again, collaborative efforts, is working together with common goals. It's embracing change, is understanding how the awareness levels of the human being and the consciousness level of the human being is also evolving. So there are lots of components that are driving us to being flexible and to embracing the new world that is coming our way, where women will have a very important role to play.
Yes, at least a third of the wealth. There's so many things in terms of where women sit and what we're stepping toward. I couldn't agree more. And I will double down on what you said about empowerment, Catherine. I don't believe in leaders and followers. I think that is absolutely nonsense. It's very much the old model. I believe in leaders and supporters. And if you treat people like they're your followers, that's dead. It's dying and dead. You're treating people as your partners, as your supporters, and you equally, and even more so when you are technically in a more senior role, see your role as a supporter. That's where you cannot stop that. That's where things happen that you're not even thinking about when you're leading whatever it is that you're promised against with others that you're collaborating with that are fully empowered to lead and support and see success on that common vision of whatever that success looks like. I don't care if it's a project, a campaign, a company, a full massive enterprise sized organization. I don't care what the goal is. The fact of the matter is, if you have people aligned where they're leading and supporting, that team you can't stop. And that makes up time. That helps you to move faster. I couldn't agree with you more in terms of time being absolutely the most critical metric of success and profitability in that success.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So, wow, I could speak about a lot of things with you forever, but I'd love you to speak about the C-Suite network, and if women are interested in joining or in having a part in what you're doing, what is the process, if you don't mind talking about this?
Thank you so much, Catherine. The whole concept of C-Suite Network is to create an ecosystem and a platform to support great business leaders in their success. I would absolutely love to host any of your listeners at C-Suite Network. The easiest way to come into C-Suite Network, certainly we have our website, www.c-suitenetwork.com. That's SUITE. And also we have a Celebrates event. Every Friday evening, I host an event where it's just a community time. So people come in, some are there every Friday, some come in periodically, and everything in between. And what we do is we share what's happening in the community. What are the exciting things that we're celebrating? What are the things that are coming up? Frequently, I'll bring in a special guest that's done exceptional things in their industry and their business. The top of the top in terms of their expertise and so on, and showcase them and introduce them into the community. That's where I record my podcast. So there's always a lot happening, and it's a great way to meet a lot of us. And as I said, I'd be more than welcome to host any of your listeners.
That would be wonderful. So is that international? People can join from all over the world. It doesn't matter, right?
That's absolutely correct. And I'm always I'm begging our Australian leaders to be drinking coffee for me, because our Friday evening is their Saturday morning, and I'm a devotee of coffee. So yes.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So I encourage everyone to first of all, go see the website, check out the website, and speak with you, because sometimes we are not sure how we can expand our influence. But I think you mentioned curiosity before, which I love, because when you have that curious mindset, you are open to learning, first of all, but you're open to new relationships that can be very important in your scaling up. And scaling up is also one of your specialty, right?
It's absolutely, and it is so powerful. You know, we talked about 50% of our membership being women leaders, and we also have our Women's Coaching and Consulting Council, our Leadership Global Council. So there are tremendous communities of women within C-Suite, and we also have the full integration of everyone. So it creates those trusted relationships across all different areas. We have people that are leading in disability. We have people that are leading in health. We have people that are leading in financial, etc. And so it creates an opportunity where those trusted bonds are being created across relationships and individuals and companies where otherwise it just wouldn't exist. And then, of course, our goal is to accelerate that because so many of us have been engaged for decades. If you don't just show up and create an online account and you don't know who that person is and they can show up, and do terrible things somewhere else, this is truly about real connection and seeing success together.
And it's I can see that change anyway happening because social media, mass media, all of this is changing drastically because there's a lack of trust. And you mentioned trust, it's all about trust. And when you are within a trusted network, then it's really easier to take some risks because you're going to have people by your side that will be there alongside when you are going through those challenges, where you are trying new things that potentially will be difficult and will not maybe lead to the results that you are expecting. And having such environments, I really believe this is the future. This is the future of business. This is how we are going to be able to embrace new technologies, to try new things, and to reach outcomes that maybe we never thought of.
I agree entirely. And I'm so excited about the brand value of C-suite as we continue to scale and great leaders own that brand. We're all delivering against a value proposition and a business model that is that future orientation. So we have the value of an enterprise level brand, but not the bureaucracy and infrastructure that costs a fortune beneath it. We have everyone doing what they do at excellence and being referred through the network to get that business, again, more quickly and provide service that has greater value from someone who actually cares about that person succeeding or that client or that business succeeding. So it is that model, it's based entirely on that model of the future of how we create greater success, greater impact, and the caring that we want from our brands.
The one thing I've learned, because I've had several businesses, you cannot do it alone. You cannot live in a state of separatedness and in isolation. It does not work. Or maybe it works, but it's going to take a lot longer and it's going to take all your energy, right? So things like that, this type of belief has to be modified and we have to work within an integrated model, just like what you're offering. This is why I love it. This is why I'm so excited that I'm speaking with you here, that we're sharing this, because when you are in the right environment with the right mentors, just like you mentioned, we now have women mentors. The speed to growth and the speed to success is 10x.
Yes, absolutely. And the fact of the matter is, we all know what it feels like to be at the top levels in our industry and know the things that are complete nonsense, that really don't serve the client, that really aren't the right thing to do, that aren't actually profitable. This is ironic, and frequently when you talk about great values, people think you're not talking about business principles. And that's why I said it in the beginning, it's very critical that you stay very close to the financials, because those of us that have built our businesses on creating real value and seeing success know that that is more profitable than the nonsense that's frequently recorded as profitable. If you look at much, larger public organizations, for example, they can make something look like it's profitable, but everybody internally knows it's not. And it's not because something's been acquired, it's been dismantled, it'll never create success. Everybody knows it, but it's put and positioned like it is, and like it is going to deliver that. So the fact of the matter is, when you're doing good business and you're creating loyal clients that are seeing success, there's more money to pay against that and a lengthier relationship in terms of the whatever that engagement is. And so that's where that real profitability, real scaling, real success, and then the impact back to the community, because the fact of the matter is, those of us that care about our business delivering success that actually creates successful outcomes, we give back to our communities. That's what we do. So it is what is right. The idea that, this is business, they're there, this is business. No, that's just being an asshole. That, let's call it as it is. That's just being not
Yeah.
a good person,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And we have the ability to create business models where we're delivering great success for everyone we serve and serve with.
And I so agree with you. But I think those assholes, like you mentioned, I love that. Be blunt. We have to be blunt sometimes. They are going to be kicked out. There's no way they can keep doing what they've been doing forever, thinking it's been working forever. That's over. So get ready, assholes,
Yes,
to receive a good spanking here. It's coming your way.
I believe we are very much at a nexus. And if
Yeah.
you can have a horrendous, unacceptable, just terrible scenario like the CEO of United Health being shot in the back and then being even joked about as a folk hero, you know we've got major problems, and that is not going away. That needs to be addressed. It can be addressed, and there's no reason on earth not to have profitable models that do care about people, that do deliver success.
Amen. Oh my God. I mean, what an incredibly powerful message here. And I hope people hear it, but I know people are getting more and more aware of it, that awareness is growing. People are not stupid. You know, people are other leaders that have been doing unethical thing for so long, think everybody's stupid and they fall into their trap. No, they're not. You know, people see through the BS. They are tired of the abuse. So I am an eternal optimist. I always see the light in darkness. I always find a way to encourage people. And I think you are this way as well, Trisha. And that's people like you that are driving the way, opening up doors and showing that, hey, it's possible. We can have it that way. Things can change. And women will be critical in the expansion of all that is.
Yes. And, you know, Catherine, I'm so mindful to that in very specific examples. You know, what is the language that's used? We've got an event coming up on March 8th for International Women's Day that I'm emceeing for Leadership Global, Linda Fisk. And the conversation and the language to create the confidence to ask those right questions. Because I believe women have been asking the right questions, which do call out the problems in the different industries, in this case, the financial industry, and they get shut down, you know, and that comes back to an initial point you shared earlier in our conversation. It's the confidence to know you're speaking the right language or have the right to demand an answer, regardless of whether you're using the right language or not. And then have the confidence to be able to see that be successful for us. So I'm excited about these kinds of opportunities where we can create a common language and fun, you know, so confidence, you know, there's a common language, there's confidence and then fun to be able to make it part of our lives and make it work for us.
Yes, and I think there's a way to react to the old behaviors instead of getting angry and shut down. Bring a bit of humor. You know, humor is always a great segue to any type of negative energies. When you bring humor and you do it with confidence, this is so powerful.
It is. I really work hard at that. I work really hard because I tend to be very intense. You know, so I have to like take a deep breath and yes, I can go in a different direction.
Yeah, I mean, what can people do when you bring humor with a smile? You know, we are all energy, and I think when you have that awareness, hey, it's okay. He kicked me out, he put me down, he didn't respect me. That's okay. What I do is say, yes, but you know, I understand what you're saying, but hey, you know, how about this and how about that? So stay open, don't get angry, because when you get angry, you fall into their trap. Take everything with a smile, with a positive attitude, and with the belief that, you know what, nothing's perfect anyway, but I believe in myself, and I'm going to do what I need to do to make a difference in the right way.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. And you said earlier that constant, interest and curiosity, and you know, you're always learning. And I frequently have used in my whole career, I've used the analogy of a Rubik's Cube, because just when you think you've got one side nailed, you have to disrupt that one side being set and try to get two sides now, you know, so and even if you have all six, someone takes away a piece or messes up one piece and now you've got to redo the whole thing anyway. So it's a game, and that can make it fun, with especially when you have great people by your side that want to see you succeed and understand that means something that is beyond, as you said, the selfish ego piece. but really truly delivering value in something that matters, and truly a legacy that matters as well.
It's very important. So one thing I'd like to stress out, we've been speaking a lot about women, and I've spoken about men, leaders, most of them are men, but I am not against men. That's very important to say. I'm not against men. There are incredible leaders out there, and I'm meeting new ones that are just blow my mind how mature they are, how aware they are, how well they understand that bringing women in within their team is critical. So I'm not against men. I'm just for wise ones that are aware, that are respectful, and that I understand that it's going to take a collaborative effort between genders to reach their goals. So that was important for me to say, because I don't want people to feel after this conversation, well, she doesn't like men. No, that's not what it is. So that was important for me to mention here.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. And I would go even further to say that this isn't a problem for just men. And this is something that we all contribute to. And that's, again, it's shocking to me how fragile we are when we have to sit in a place that says, oh, that's somebody else is doing this, and not own and understand our own responsibility to a culture that's created in combination. So I know, Catherine, you will have experienced this, where there are scenarios where you experience more prejudice with someone who claims to be the most aware and leading in that space.
That's so true.
And so I'm very mindful, and I try so hard to use tools that help me make sure that I'm not falling into those traps. It's very challenging. If we knew what our systemic biases were, if we could somehow completely separate from the cultures that we're raised in, that we deliver into, that we lead, we wouldn't be human. Maybe we'd be the AI intelligence that we're creating. I'm not certain, but we don't have that ability. So I'm a big believer in really embracing and seeking that understanding, and also what I can be doing to try to address it as much as humanly possible within the decision-making influence I have. A simple little example I always share is somebody will ask me, who should speak at this event? Or who do you think is an expert in that space? And I'll ask my team to pull a list of everyone who qualifies within my base. Because if I don't go through that whole list, at the very least, I might just be biased based on the last person I spoke with.
Yeah, very true.
And that does not mean that they're the best person, or that I'm creating an opportunity that is diverse. Because I might have met this one group recently, my group of CEOs, not my executives, etc. So I think there's an incredible humility, and I think you have that as well, Catherine, just to say what you said about men and incredible men that are out there. It's being able to look at how can we lead, how can we share the tools that we're using to help ourselves, because we don't know what we don't know, and that's a gift, not a threat. That's a gift.
It is, and the last thing I'd like to say is, I think it's important to start anything with kindness and with love, because it should all start there. When you approach something with love and kindness, you're open, and you're leaving space for opportunities to come your way and space for change. So instead of being led by fear and anxiety, I think it's having that awareness that anything that you do that may be new, start with a place of love and kindness.
Beautiful. And love is a word for business.
It is a word for business.
And an incredibly powerful influencer and motivator. So absolutely, Catherine.
Wonderful. So Tricia, if someone wants to get hold of you, they go to your website, they can send you an email, right?
Yes, Tricia at csuitenetwork.com, and
Okay.
that's Tricia.
Yes.
And of course, C-suite, S-U-I-T-E
Yeah,
network.
we'll put that definitely on the video itself. This way people know it will be in the comment area. Wonderful. So if you had to say anything as parting words to my audience, something inspirational, motivational, what would that be?
Catherine, I'm just so elated that you are creating a space for this kind of meaningful conversation where we can share and create the support and that conversation and confidence to know if you share these kinds of thoughts, these beliefs, you've seen this in action in terms of how it delivers business success, community success, you're not alone. So I'm so grateful to you and for this time together, and for anyone of your listeners to know that they are certainly not alone in the space that you create, not only in this podcast, obviously the whole series of your podcast. I'm just grateful, and I'm thrilled that I'm able to be part of that.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for doing what you're doing, because it's something critical that a true leader had to embrace, and it looks like you are the one to do this very well.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I am sure you enjoyed my conversation with Tricia. Please get hold of her, speak with her, because sometimes you have an idea as to how you want to tackle a challenge or the place that you would like to have in society going forward, but you're not sure. And when you pass it by someone like her, suddenly you start getting a new vision, new ideas, and it could potentially change your path and open doors that you never had thought about before. So I encourage everyone to do that. Get hold of her, check the website csuitenetwork.com, and share with your network. We are here to share, to help each other out. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I cannot do it on my own. I need people to share on their network so that we can have a broader influence and embrace change with love and kindness, just like I mentioned before. Thank you again, everyone, for watching, and we will see you next time.